guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing a recent renovation that we did to our home. We recently finished our basement after almost 2 years in the process, mostly because of COVID, but we're finally done. And in this video specifically, I'm going to be sharing the bathroom portion of the renovation. You will get to see the other parts of the basement when I do videos like decorate with me videos or organization videos. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be filming other parts for you as well, but today we're going to be focusing mainly on the bathroom. When we first bought our home, our basement was bare bones. It had no floors, no ceilings, and no walls, just literally to the bones. And we knew at some point we wanted to finish it, but we also had other things to do to the home that we wanted to prioritize before moving on to the basement. So once we were able to finish those things, we moved on to the basement. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing the bathroom portion, and then I'm also going to be sharing where we got some of the stuff for that portion of the renovation and how much certain things cost altogether. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So we first started this renovation at the very beginning of the COVID pandemic, and then a month or two into the work, there was a lockdown, so we had to halt work. And then during that time also we had a baby, so we had to prolong the wait time even longer. And then just this past summer we picked it up again, and we're finally done and ready to decorate and move our things in here. So basically what this space is going to be is we're gonna have like an open space, like a lounging area where we can watch movies and TV. Our home office is going to move down here, and then we have our play area also that will be down here for our little one. And that's pretty much what we're going to use the space for. But we still thought we should put in a bathroom. It adds to the value of the home, and then for the convenience, we don't always have to go upstairs if we wanted to use the bathroom. So the first thing we started with the process of renovation was get a project manager slash a realtor slash a contractor. This was just a family friend, and this is what he does for work, and he was generous enough to do this for us out of the kindness of his heart. He came in, he took a look at the basement. We told him kind of like the ideas that we had to finish it, and then he also gave us some input. The first thing he suggested for us to do was to get a designer, and this person was going to plan out the basement where things were going to be located and draw out a plan for us, which in hindsight I'm not exactly sure if we needed that in the end, but it did serve two purposes. One, when we first thought about finishing the basement, we thought, we were going to carve out a room for the office, another room for like a gym or a workout area, and then we were going to have another room for a laundry room. And when we talked to this family friend and the designer, we all came to the consensus that that was just going to close up the space and make it a bit more smaller than it already is. So it's best that we leave it an open floor plan, so that once I start putting my furniture and decor pieces in here, I can use those to define the spaces. So right now we just have one big open floor plan, and I'm going to use my decor pieces to kind of define stuff, so that when you walk in here, this section is the home office and this section is the play area and so on. And I'll be sure to film all of those for you once I get to decorating those things. So that was the first thing. And the second purpose that the designer served was that whenever we went in to apply for the permit for the renovation, we were able to produce those plans as part of the permit application, so that the city would see exactly what we had in mind to do to the basement. So those two were very helpful in having a designer. So once we got all of those out of the way, we actually move on to the renovation. And the first thing we did was the framing. So what we decided to do personally, and this may not work for everyone because honestly it's very time consuming doing it this way, was instead of having one contractor do the whole work from beginning to end, we decided that for each specific project we were going to find someone else to do that project. And in doing so, we have to call people, get different quotes, kind of see the best one to go with. We didn't always go with the most affordable one. It just had to make sense for us, someone that we knew we can trust with the work, and someone that we had confidence in, and just someone that we connected with were the people that we ended up choosing for the different projects. So the first project was the framing. We got in a framing company. All they do is framing, and they started the framing. They took about I would say less than a week to frame the entire basement. And then that is when we had to kind of put things on hold because of COVID. So after the framing, we called in the electrical company and they came in to lay down all the electrical work and the wiring, so that once we put the drywall up, everything is tacked away and behind the wall. So the electrical people did their portion of the work, and then what they told us is literally when we're done with everything, the walls were up and we painted, then we can call them to kind of put the finishing touches of on the electrical work. That way they can put in the outlets and those kind of stuff, the lighting and all those kind of stuff. So they did their portion, and then we ended up doing the installation. We did this part ourselves. It's fairly easy. We just ordered the installation from Home Depot. It was delivered to our home and we installed it ourselves. A friend came over to help. I personally didn't participate in this portion, but from what I understand, it can get very dusty and itchy. That took about 2 days. It was fairly easy. And then once the installation was done, we called in a plumber. And we called in the plumber for two specific reasons. One, obviously to lay down the plumbing work behind the wall so that the drywall can go over after he was done, but mainly for the bathroom portion. When we first bought our home, there was already a space that was carved out that was used as a bathroom in the basement, and from what we understood from the neighbors, the previous owners had a doggy daycare business that they were running out of the house, and so I suppose that portion was where they gave the dogs baths. But the thing with what they had was, even though the plumbing was already done in that area, it wasn't the way we wanted it. For example, the drainage for the shower was literally right smack in the middle of the room. So because of that, we had to call a plumber to move things around a little bit. And then the other thing that we called the plumber to do was, behind me, the wall that you see behind me used to be where our washer and dryer used to be, but when we talked to our family friend and going over our plans, he suggested that we move the washer and dryer into the bathroom area and kind of create a closet around it so it's tucked away, and then we can have the space open for something else. Only because where I'm sitting right now is literally right in the middle of the basement, so it really made no sense to have the washer and dryer in the middle of the basement. So yeah, we moved it from this wall into the bathroom, and so this area that I'm in right now will be the play area for our little one. Also, the portion that we wanted to use for the bathroom was really huge, and in the beginning we thought we were gonna do a 5-piece bathroom. We're gonna have like double vanity, a stand-up shower, a bathtub, you know, the whole 9 yards. But then it made no sense because we already have a bathtub upstairs, and in reality we're not really going to be using that bathtub a whole lot. So moving the washer and dryer into the space that we're going to use for the bathtub was a better use of space. I will be filming a laundry room renovation video, if you will, because I plan on having like shelving units and cabinets and like a butcher block over the washer and dryer, and just doing some nice organization stuff in there. So when I do that, you get to see how I transform that closet. So once that plumber was done doing all the work and moving the drainage from the middle of the room to the corner where we wanted it, we now went ahead with the drywall. And then we ended up getting a quote from a contractor who we actually ended up using for the remainder of the work, because we found out that he was actually a builder and he builds home. That is his job. He actually has a showroom downtown, which made it so easy for us because we just go into the showroom, pick up the stuff that we wanted, and then he would bring his guys in to get the work done. So it made it very easy to have one person to just kind of finish it off. So he did the drywall, and then after the drywall they did the ceiling. For the ceiling, we ended up going with drop ceiling only because of the tiles, and if there were to be any issues, we would be able to kind of move things around and fix it. Right now we just have the basic builder grade tiles for the ceiling, but we're hoping that in the future at some point we'll switch it out to something a little nicer. So that's what we did for the ceiling, and then once that was done, we went in with the floors. I would say the floors were probably the most expensive thing in all of this, only because it's a type of engineered hardwood tiled floor that he highly recommended that we use for the basement. He said it was waterproof, water resistance, and if there were any issues at all, we were able to just kind of pop them out, take them out, fix whatever issue and put them back in. So because of that, we decided to go with that. I mean, it was Like I said, very costly, but it made sense to do it right in the beginning and once and for all. So we did the floors, and I actually went into his showroom. He had like a bunch of different samples, and this was the color that I picked, and I absolutely love it. It's really beautiful when you walk in here. Initially I was gonna do a gray one, but I'm glad I went with this natural wood finish one. It makes the space open up and even more brighter. So once the floor was done, that's when we actually move on to the bathroom. And this is when I started really getting excited for the bathroom renovation. The idea that I had in mind for the bathroom, I wanted something very simple, minimal, fine lines, clean lines. I wanted to feel like a hotel, but also have like a cozy, homey feel to it. So that was kind of my vision. I didn't use a designer or anything. I just kind of put my thoughts together and decided what I wanted to do. So the first thing they did was to frame out the actual shower, and before they did that, we picked up the door, the glass door that we wanted to use. I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. But so they used the dimensions of the glass door to frame out the shower, which looking back now, we could have gone a little bigger because there's so much space than we actually thought there was going to be. But it's okay. I mean, it's not a bathroom that we're going to be using very often. So once the framing was done, usually when they're done doing the work, I try to run down here to kind of see what they've done when they leave. Obviously, I try not to come in here when they're doing their work because I don't want to bother them. But the moment they leave, I kind of run down here to see the progress and what has been done. And good thing I did on this particular day, because we wanted to add a soap box in the shower, and they had forgotten to do that. So we called our contractor, and the next morning they came in and installed a soap box, which if we hadn't seen it when we did, and they had come in the next day and laid the towels, it would have been probably been too late to do that. When the soap box was installed, that's when the towels were laid. I actually asked you guys on Instagram which towel combination I should go with. My first option was the same black and white mosaic towels for the floors, but I had like a marble finish for the walls. And then my second option, which is the one I ended up going with, was mosaic towels for the floor, but with the walls I wanted it to look more like a concrete / cement finish. Again, I was trying to do something very modern and minimal, so I thought that would be perfect for what I had in mind. So he laid the towels, and this time I think he waited a day or two for it to completely dry and set before they came in and applied the grout. I also ended up picking the grout myself. Initially, I wanted to go with a lighter color, but I'm glad I went with a dark gray color, because the lighter color I felt like would have been too hard to maintain and clean. And then when the grout was done, we called in our plumber again to put the finishing touches on. So he came in and he installed the shower head and the faucet for the shower. Now this part is not, the shower head and the faucet isn't my absolute favorite. There was one that I really wanted, but when our plumber first came in, before we even put the drywalls up, he said first portion of the shower head should go into the wall first before the tiles and everything went on. And at the time I hadn't ordered the one that I wanted, so I went to Lowe's and I found this one, which it works. We might end up changing it at some point, we might not. I think for now it's fine. So he came in and he installed the shower head, and then there was an issue with the faucet in the shower that you turn on and off the water. He wasn't able to install that because the screw that came in the box was the wrong screw. So I ended up calling Delta, which is the company that makes the faucet, and they were actually really nice. They sent me a new screw within a few days, and I ended up just screwing that on myself. It was fairly easy. So when he installed the shower head and the faucet, he also that same day installed the vanity. And the vanity, I'm not sure if you've seen the IKEA Godmorgan vanities. That's the one that I wanted. I wanted something that will mount to the wall. What we've learned having a small home is that if you mount things to the wall, it makes your space look like it's much bigger than it really is. So I went to IKEA, and like most things, the Godmorgan one that I specifically wanted was completely sold out. But luckily I was able to find one on Wayfair. But then the Wayfair one, I think it cost maybe a little over $300 for that one. And then it arrived and the sink was completely shattered in the box. So we called Wayfair and they were nice enough to send us a new one, and they just told us to get rid of the old one, which it was only the sink that was broken. The actual vanity was fine, but they did send us a new one, and we called the plumber in to install it. And the plumber that we use is an older gentleman. I mean, he's probably been doing this longer than I have been born, honestly. And he said he's never done a wall-mounted vanity before. So that part was a little challenging. So what he had to do was go back on the other side of the wall, which is located under the stairway, and just cut out the drywall that has already been installed, and then bolt the vanity to the beams and the framing. That way it's really secured. So that's what he ended up doing, and I'm really glad we went with that, even though it was a little bit challenging, because in the beginning when he said he wasn't able to do it, I'm like, oh, maybe I can just return this one and buy something that, you know, you're able to do more easily. But he ended up working it out, and I'm glad he did, because it's exactly what I had in mind. And then once that was installed, the last thing that we had to do was the shower door, which I feel like was the crown for the whole bathroom renovation. I bought the shower door from build.com, and I think I spent about $1,300 for the shower door, but I really wanted it, and I think it adds to the space and our vision and what we wanted. So the shower door was installed. Again, this was also a bit of a challenge for the contractor. In the beginning, he didn't really understand how to do it properly, but then after taking his time, he was able to install it, and it came out really beautifully. And that really completed the bathroom renovation. And then I added a few other touches, like the mirror over the vanity, which I got from Target, and then the faucet for this vanity I got from Amazon, and then the vanity light I also got that from Amazon as well. I have started decorating a little bit, but not a whole lot. So I'm really looking forward to actually decorating and just making it very cozy and inviting. I'm thinking of putting like light under the vanity, so that when you walk into the bathroom it will light up. And then also by the window we have a space that I want to put shelving, so that I can have like plants on the shelves. So just kind of like a plant wall next to the window. I think that would be really nice. So I do have some ideas on how I want to decorate it, but for the most part I'm gonna leave it like this. It's gonna be this minimal. Whenever I film the laundry room organization / renovation video, I'll be sure to kind of update you on what the basement bathroom is looking like with all the decor pieces. I'm gonna have some towels in there just to really make it very nice and inviting, like I said. But yeah, that's pretty much what the bathroom looks like now. I am so glad with how it turned out. We love this bathroom so much that we have also decided to redo the bathroom upstairs. So I'm definitely going to be filming that for you, and I think that one will be completely different than the one downstairs. I mean, you're going to see when I do that one, but it's going to be very different. But yeah, that is what the bathroom looks like, and I am so pleased with how it turned out. If I can find the stuff that we use, the accessories, the doors, the towels, the light, the faucets, all that good stuff, I'll leave all of them down below for you. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back and watch more of the other parts of the basement and how we finished it. But the bathroom was probably my favorite part of all of this. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Make sure you leave a comment down below what you like. I really want to get to 1K subscribers, so please help me out and subscribe. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in about a week for my next video.